Right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Okay. So I know it's the bad weather outside, so thank you for being here, right? It shows your interest to complete this assignment successfully. So before beginning with the assignment guidelines, let me wish you congratulations for each and every one of you actually. Now you have reached the final hurdle of this CA journey, isn't it? You have only two more hurdles, this assignment with the case study and the Viva. So ultimately you will be chartered accountants. That's really closer. So we'll see how we can get through this assignment. Right. So I hope you have read the assignment at least once before coming to this session, isn't it? Hopefully, yes. So let me open it first of all. We are doing changes. මට PDF එකයි presentation slide දෙකම මාරුවෙන් මාරු බලන්න. Right. So this is the assignment. You can see SL5 integrated case study assignment. And as Sanjay sir mentioned, it is all about Clean Sri Lanka project, right? So sir mentioned not to read that, not to look into that Clean Sri Lanka project in a political light, isn't it? So you have to be very independent, then only you can focus on these dimensions. Right, so first of all, as you can see, fostering change for a cleaner tomorrow, you have two segments in this assignment, the background and the case, right? And then it has clearly mentioned what is required and the assessment criteria and the marking scheme. Those are the segments in the assignment, right? So having looked into it, we'll go to the slides. Okay, so I'm going to focus on giving you a brief introduction to this assignment, and then we'll discuss about the assignment, the case and the background, and some assignment guidelines with important tips. Okay, now when it comes to this assignment, as Mr. Lalit and Sanjay sir mentioned, it's about a contemporary issue. Now, Clean Sri Lanka project is a contemporary development in the Sri Lankan context. That's why we have taken it. And you have to do a good research, conduct your own research before writing the answer to this assignment. Now, if we take the Clean Sri Lanka project itself, you need to have a good understanding about the project itself. You can refer to different sources, right, in the public domain. It can be a Clean Sri Lanka website. There's a specific website for that. If you just Google it, you will find it. And then, of course, there are news articles, newspapers, different other public websites regarding this Clean Sri Lanka project. Go through all these documents and have a clear understanding about the project first of all. That's very necessary. So you have to do your own research about the Clean Sri Lanka project first. Then, when we go through the assignment, you will realize there are three industries. There are three industries, right? Tourism and hospitality, agriculture and agro industry, right? Likewise, you have three industries. So when you have to incorporate the Clean Sri Lanka project into your organization, first of all, you need to identify these three industries as well. You need to identify what are the trends, what are the developments, what are the issues, challenges, new potentials in these industries. Then only you can pick one industry for your answer. So we will discuss these things. So I'm saying you have to do a proper research about the Clean Sri Lanka project and your selected industry. So there are two researches to be done, right? And then when it comes to the marks, 20 marks allocated for the assignment. If we take SL5 integrated case study as a whole, 100 marks. Out of 100, 20 allocated for the assignment, 80 for your case study exam. So this is about the 20 marks for your assignment. Why this assignment is important? You need to have at least, that means minimum 10 marks of this assignment to successfully progress into the section 2, that means the case study exam. So you need to earn 10 marks for the assignment to sit for the case study exam. That's why it's really important, right? And now we will move on to our assignment, right? March 2025 assignment. As I read out earlier, fostering change for a cleaner tomorrow. That is our topic. And I have mentioned the requirement. What is the requirement? It is clearly mentioned, prepare a comprehensive report analyzing the impact of the Clean Sri Lanka project on your organization. Basically, requirement is to prepare a report. That's it. So we have to focus on what? Report writing skills, how to write a proper report. It's all about a report. And a very important thing. Shall we go to the assignment and come back? Sorry about the technical issue. Okay, so if we just see the background, I'm not going to read the background. We'll see there are 3 paragraphs in the background section. We'll see what is written in each paragraph. Look at the case. The case is, you are a newly qualified chartered accountant working for a Sri Lankan-based business organization that operates in 3 main industries, right? Now, what is your role? You are a newly qualified chartered accountant. You need to imagine yourself as a newly qualified chartered accountant working for a Sri Lankan-based organization. These words are very important. This organization is a Sri Lankan-based organization, operates in 3 different industries. What are the industries? Tourism and hospitality, 1. Agriculture and agro-industry, the second one, and healthcare and pharmaceuticals, third one. There are 3 industries. The organization prides itself on being a key player in these sectors, contributing significantly to the national economy while addressing social and environmental challenges. What does that mean? From this sentence, you can imagine this organization is doing very well in all 3 industries. That's why it says organization prides itself on being a key player in this industry, in these sectors. So that means a small organization or a large organization, as you think. Probably it should be a well-performing, a large organization, right? So that's it. You need to hypothetically, you need to imagine the organization in your mind. That's how you can develop a good answer. Because as you can see, even though I have not read the second paragraph, as you can see, so many information, not much information available on the organization, current organization. That means you need to hypothetically create an organization in your mind. The revenue, the scale, the specific business of this industry, it is not given. So you can decide. You can imagine, right? If you take tourism and hospitality, it can be a hotel, it can be a resort, or it can be food and beverage related. We don't know. It is not mentioned. So you can decide. And agriculture and agro industry. What is the difference between agriculture and agro industry? Agriculture is more towards crop farming, livestock farming. It can be rice, it can be tea, it can be rubber, It can be vegetables, fruits, anything, farming related. But when it comes to agro, what is included in agro? It is more towards manufacturing, processing the agricultural produce into consumable products. Maybe if we take dairy farming, that will be coming under agriculture, but dairy processing, that will be coming under agro. So we don't know. The specific business is not given. That's why you need to hypothetically think about an organization. If we take healthcare and pharmaceuticals, it can be a hospital, it can be pharmaceutical related organization. So that's why you need to have a clear understanding about these three industries. First of all, you need to have a good understanding about all three industries, at least rough idea, right? In Sri Lankan context, what is happening in tourism and hospitality? What is happening in agriculture and agro? Then you can pick one. After picking an industry, you can go in detail. That's how it should be, right? And then it says, recently, the Clean Sri Lanka project initiated by the new government of Sri Lanka gained significant traction, recognizing the strategic importance of this initiative. This is important. Your reporting manager has approached you to conduct a comprehensive study of its potential impact. Now, let me go back to the slides. Who is writing the report? By you as a newly qualified chartered accountant working in the organization. External party or an internal party? Internal. So, internal party. You are playing a role of an internal party. Remember, unlike other assignments, most of the time, an external advisor is writing a report. But not like that, internal party. And then to whom? You are writing the report to your reporting manager, right? Maybe the senior management ultimately read the report. So this is basically an internal report. So do you have to mention all the things about the company and everything in an internal report? No. But don't you have to mention that as well? Because examiner doesn't know your organization, isn't it? That's why you need to be a bit strategic. In an internal report, usually we are not mentioning all the internal name, established year and everything in an internal report. But since the information is not given in the assignment, you have to indirectly tell your examiner, this is the business. This is my scale, right? You have to be very strategic here. That's what, right? Remember that. Okay, now the background section. The background section we didn't read. There are 3 paragraphs. It's all about the Clean Sri Lanka project. A very brief introduction, a very brief idea given by these 3 paragraphs, right? You have to read a lot more than this. So if we take paragraph 1, it's about the overview of this Clean Sri Lanka project. It's a national initiative and it focuses on cleaner, greener and more sustainable nation. It integrates ESG principles, that means environmental, social and governance principles, focus on clean environment, ethical practices and behavioral change. As Sanjay sir mentioned, it's not about cleaning a beach or cleaning a road or anything. It's not about physical cleaning. It is more than that, right? You have to understand it. And then addressing waste management, pollution, climate change, all these things are there. You can read and understand, right? And then the second paragraph about the background section, it talks about the pillars of this project. There are 3 pillars: environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and ethical sustainability. Coming under these 3 pillars, they have mentioned different things, different goals. So you can read and understand. I'm not going to read. It's your duty to read. And then paragraph 3, implementation of strategies and goals. A sustainable framework that prioritizes economic sustainability. While talking about these 3, environmental, social, and ethical, it talks about the economic aspect as well, right? And then project's objectives are given. If you just go through the Clean Sri Lanka project website, you will clearly see the objectives: fostering ethical practices, eliminating corruption, enhancing public accountability, optimizing natural resource usage, all these objectives are there and their target, right? A brief understanding you can get by reading these 3 paragraphs. And then the case. That means this section, the case, we read this. So it's an organization name not given. Name is not given. You can hypothetically develop a name because to write the report you need a name, no? So you can develop it. A Sri Lankan based company as we discussed and a key player in these 3 different industries. And we read this sentence as well. We can imagine that this company is well performing in all 3 industries. It's a large organization. It should be the case. And the organization is keen to align its operations with the goals of the Clean Sri Lanka project. Now, this assignment is not about evaluating the Clean Sri Lanka project, whether it is a good project or a bad project. That's not our requirement, right? This organization is keen to operations with the goals of the Clean Sri Lanka project, keen to align its operations. That decision is already made, right? And now you have to see how can we incorporate Clean Sri Lanka project, what are the challenges, what are the issues in our organization. That's how you need to develop, right? Okay. So the assignment, it's all about a report, as we mentioned. You need to prepare a comprehensive report analyzing the impact. And then, this is very important, this part is mentioned under requirement section, required. This is what I read now, prepare a comprehensive report. As the first step, you are required to select one industry, right? Don't do the analysis, don't do the assignment with all 3 industries, that's unnecessary. You have to pick only one industry, okay? Select one industry, either tourism and hospitality, agriculture and agro-industry, healthcare and pharmaceuticals, and conduct an in-depth analysis of its challenges, opportunities, and alignment strategies, right? So in order to pick one industry, as I mentioned earlier, first of all, you need to have a brief understanding about all 3 industries, right? What is happening in the Sri Lankan context, and then pick one, then you can proceed. Then you can plan your assignment. What are the general guidelines? Now, this slide is about that picking one industry. Okay. Now the same thing I have included here, so I'll go to the assignment itself, then it would be familiar to you. General guidelines for candidates. This part is also very important. When you are organizing your report, you need to address these sections. How many sections are there? A, B, C, D, E, 5 sections. But you could follow the guidelines below. However, your answer does not need to be limited to them only. That means, can you add different other subtopics apart from these 5 areas? Yes, of course. You need to add. You need to add whatever necessary apart from these 5 areas. But you need to definitely address these 5 areas because marks are allocated, right? Okay, when you add new points, new subtopics, that will add value. For the overall mark, that will add value to your assignment, but definitely you need to address these 5. Okay, now there are 2 segments, as you can see, national level perspective and the organizational level perspective. First of all, the broader impact. Now, when you come to this point, you have read about the Clean Sri Lanka project. You have a good understanding about the Clean Sri Lanka project. You have read about all 3 industries to get a general understanding, and you have picked one industry for your assignment, right? You have come to this point. Now, you need to answer these questions. Broader impact. Coming under broad impact, analyze the broad impact of the Clean Sri Lanka project on the corporate sector. What do you mean by corporate sector? Basically business organizations, right? You don't have to talk about one industry here. Remember, you are talking about the impact, overall impact of Clean Sri Lanka project on the overall corporate sector. as one of the business organizations in Sri Lanka, as a key player in one of these industries, what is the impact? What is the broad overall impact, right? You don't have to focus on one industry here. You are talking about the overall impact. And then industry-specific issues. Now you have to talk about your selected industry. It says identify and critically evaluate the issues or shortcomings in the selected industry that are relevant to the objectives of the Clean Sri Lanka project. Now you are talking about your selected industry, but again, not organizational perspective, national level perspective. Overall, if you take hospitality, tourism and hospitality industry in Sri Lankan context, overall industry, what are the issues? What are the shortcomings relevant to the Clean Sri Lanka project objectives? That's the overall impact. So you are taking the issues, you are taking the shortcomings in the national level, right? So that's why you need to have a good understanding about your selected industry. Apart from the Clean Sri Lanka project, you need to have a good understanding about the selected industry. And then actionable changes. What is that? Propose practical and actionable changes the industry can implement to address the identified issues and align its operations with the initiatives. Now you have identified the issues, shortcomings in your selected industry overall. Now you are proposing the changes. Actionable, practical changes. What are the changes required in your selected industry to address the issues, to address the shortcomings? Again, not organizational perspective, national level perspective. I hope you are clear. You discussed about the overall impact, then you selected one industry, you discussed the issues, shortcomings in that industry related to Clean Sri Lanka project objectives, then you recommended, then you proposed the changes required. In this industry, these are the changes required. And be careful, don't write general recommendations. General actionable changes are not required here. Those should be industry specific. That's why you can't use what? ChatGPT, right? Do you know ChatGPT? No, you don't. That's good. Right. So you can't use AI generated content when it comes to these points. No use of using AI. I will talk about that later as well, because you should be very specific to the industry, right? That's the importance. And then last two parts, D and E. Now you are coming to your organization level. Now you have one imagined organization, hypothetical organization in your mind. I don't know your organization, only you know your organization. You can create one organization in your mind. Organizational impact evaluation. Evaluate the potential strategic, remember strategic, operational, financial, and cultural impacts of the proposed changes on your organization. Now, what is that? In this part C, you recommended, you proposed practical and actionable changes for the overall whole industry, for your selected industry. Now you have to say, in the upper part, you gave the solutions, you gave the changes. Now, what is the impact of those recommendations to your organization, right? There's a flow, logical flow. You have to follow the logical flow as well, because these proposed changes means the answers for the section C. You have given the recommendations, you have given the changes. Now, what is the impact of those changes to your organization, your hypothetical organization? That's the requirement. And then recommendations for the organization. Provide recommendations to help your organization implement the proposed changes effectively and overcome potential challenges. Again, we don't know the issues of your organization, isn't it? We don't know the shortcomings of your organization because those information not given in the assignment. You need to hypothetically think and write. That's all about imagining your organization, imagining your issues. But one important thing, examiner doesn't know the issues or shortcomings of your organization. He might know about the industry, but not your organization. So that's why indirectly you have to mention these assumptions, your hypothetical situations about the company to the examiner. That's important. Otherwise, examiner doesn't know. Okay? So those are the 5 important things, 5 compulsory aspects you need to address. Overall impact of Clean Sri Lanka project on the corporate sector, and then you have selected one industry. You analyze what are the issues, shortcomings with related to Clean Sri Lanka project objectives, and then you give the recommendations, and then you talk about the impact of given recommendations on your organization, and what are the recommendations to your organization, right? That's how the flow continues. And clearly state any assumptions you make. So when you write an internal report, I must say that rather than you just write assumptions, underline, and then you give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, assumption number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rather than just listing down the assumptions, that would be better if you can incorporate those assumptions indirectly into your content, right? Rather than just say, last year the company has made losses this much, 1 billion. Rather than just mentioning the assumption, if you can just write, as the company has made losses last year, we would, likewise, you are incorporating your assumption in the sentence. Then it is very practical, right? So you can use those strategies when you are writing the assignment. So as you can see, 20 marks allocated overall, but a clear breakdown of these, even though this is mentioned as 100 here, because the examiners will be marking the assignment on 100, but it will be converted to 20. You can see you need to write this executive summary. It's not mentioned in here, but it's compulsory to write an executive summary in your report. I hope you all know, we all know how to write an executive summary when you are at this stage. A broad impact of the Clean Sri Lanka project, that is part A, and then industry-specific issues, part B, 5 marks, and here industry-specific issues, 30 marks allocated. And industry-specific, after that, actionable changes. What are the recommendations to the industry? 20 marks allocated. And then you are talking about your organization. Organizational impact evaluation, another 20 marks. And the recommendations for your organization, 10 marks. After that, general report writing skills, you have 5 marks for that. That's how the total tallies to 100. That will be converted to 20 marks. Right, that's about the marking scheme. So we have discussed all these things. Okay, some important tips when you are writing the assignment. Now, first of all, understanding the assignment. Now I hope you have a good understanding about the assignment. You need to have a good understanding about the Clean Sri Lanka project, the new developments. Remember, there will be recent developments because it's an ongoing project. So you need to be very careful with the recent developments, right? Recent news can be there. So you need to understand about that project and a good understanding about the selected industry. You need to know in and out about the selected industry. Then only you can talk about the issues, give recommendations and everything, right? And then general recommendations or suggestions are not accepted. That's why you need to be very industry specific when you are giving the recommendations. And structure of the assignment. Now, even though we have mentioned A, B, C, D, E, compulsory areas to be addressed, a proper structure is not given. So you can develop, you can add topics, you can't remove, you can add topics, right? You can design your report in a way which is appropriate for an internal report. Remember who is writing the report, remember who is reading the report, right? So logical flow of the subtopics is required as well. If you follow A, B, C, D, E, that logical flow will be maintained. But remember, if you are adding additional subtopics, be careful to maintain the logical flow. And generally, while you do your own research, like this is one thing I will do if I do this assignment. Now, Clean Sri Lanka project, there's no one specific source for us to get the information. There are so many sources available. So when you go through all these reports or documents or websites, try to get all these informations into one document. Then you can edit it and get an understanding about it, right? Not just rather than just reading, get all these information into one place, one document. And also, plan the report well before start writing. That means the topics and the subtopics. You already know the 5 areas you need to address. Apart from that, if you are planning to add more, definitely when you add more subtopics, it will add value to your assignment, that your answer. So if you are adding subtopics, first of all, decide on those areas. Then you can easily write, easily create the content under each and every segment. So plan your assignment. Finalize the topic, subtopics, you will write in the assignment. Make sure to include the areas, topics specified in the assignment. Now you know that, don't forget, all 5 areas should be included. And then follow formatting requirements as per the guidelines, that assignment guidelines available to you in the CA website. So thoroughly read it. Have a good understanding about the assignment guidelines. Simple things, font size, font style, margins, alignments, all these things matter when you write a report, especially when you are a qualified chartered accountant. A qualified chartered accountant is writing the report. You need to be very careful about the formattings as well. Not only about the content. Even though you are very good in content, if the report doesn't look nice with the formattings and alignments, that's no use. So be careful with the formattings as well. And the word count. Word count, 3,000 words. 3,000 words plus or minus 300. That means 10% plus or minus you can have. Be limited to this word count as well. And avoid plagiarism, as Mr. Lalit mentioned. There are softwares to capture if you have plagiarism issue, so avoid plagiarism. And most importantly, avoid AI-generated content, right? Nowadays, it's not a secret that we all use AI. You can use AI, but for this assignment, if you just generate the report, generate the answer using AI, trust me, there's no use, right? Because you need to be very, very industry specific in the Sri Lankan context with the Clean Sri Lanka project. So there are mechanisms to capture AI-generated content as well. So avoid those unnecessary issues, right? That's about the important topics. And now I hope you have a good understanding about the assignment, the marking scheme, the areas you need to focus, and how to write a good report in the assignment. Okay, now it's your time to ask questions. If you have any questions or clarifications, you can ask. It seems there are no questions. All clear? We have a mic, right? Yes. You can ask if you have any questions. Hands up if you have any clarifications. Okay, yeah, we have one.
Good evening, all of you and madam. We can collect a lot of information going through the articles, then research papers, then the books and the website, and all those are available. How do I compile all those things into the assignment you expected?
Now, you don't have to specifically mention about the Clean Sri Lanka project in the assignment. While you are addressing part A, B, C, D, E, When and where necessary, you can write the information. As an example, there are objectives of Clean Sri Lanka project. If you just go to website, you will see the objectives. When you have objectives, you don't have to specifically have a section. If you want, you can mention about the Clean Sri Lanka project. This is Clean Sri Lanka project. These are the objectives. You can have a separate section. If not, you can incorporate those information into A, B, C, D, E. When you are developing or when you are giving recommendations, when you are talking about the issues, you can incorporate. That's up to you. That's okay. Other than that, you don't have to mention pages and pages about the project.
But the thing is, madam, in different sources, for the particular subject matter, it is mentioned then lot of things, different things.
Yeah.
Then there may be the risk of the duplicating things and all those things. How do I minimize all those things coming? Suppose there are 5 sources, but we want to filter to some particular subject matter. How can I do that one?
Are you talking about the different or contradictory information about the Clean Sri Lanka project? Or in the assignment when you are writing the answers?
Writing the answers, but the sources of information. Sometimes maybe in the newspaper, different things and like that way.
Yeah, now if in a scenario like that, first you refer to the website. Website is official information on that, right? So thereafter, so you can refer to any other whatever the documents available, right? And then you read and understand. You read and identify what is the most relevant, right? Because website carries the most authentic information. So thereafter, for example, different political parties might have expressed different views, right? So they might have seen in for example, political lie, right? They might have written, certain things which might not necessarily be the right intention of the particular program. I understand, so what you, basically your question. Therefore, first refer to the website. Website carries basically the government objective and etc. Right? So therefore, you primarily based your, discussion, right? If you're going to use it from the content of the website, right? If there are many other sources where the information is publicly available, right, then you read them. If they are relevant, if you can, use them in the context of your assignment, use them, right? But again, if they are contradicting to the, the information contained in the website, suggestion is to go with the information given in the website. Forget about, some of the other articles given because, official view is there in the website. Right? But in the event official, so for example, some information is there in elsewhere, whereas, it is not there in the website. So then, you can use that information elsewhere as long as it is consistent with, the overall objective given in the website. Right? You have to filter, you have to read and filter what is really relevant, what can be used, in the assignment in that particular context, for the organization you have selected.
And to add that point,
Right.
when you talk about different sources, pick the most reliable source. Now, if we just take the websites, that would be reliable. If we take a gossip site and a statement given by a political party, that won't be much reliable. So always go with the relevant and the reliable source. Then you can get the most relevant information, I would say. As previously we mentioned, most of the citizens, they have taken this Clean Sri Lanka project as a cleaning project. That's completely wrong, right? So in that case, you can just ignore those things. You can go with the reliable and the relevant information.
Yeah.
And you don't need to reproduce that content, right? So you can read them to understand the overall objective and, and how the government want basically to implement and, the society to benefit out of that exercise, right? Therefore, read that particular context, right? And then see how best you can use in particular assignment. Because we are not expecting you to reproduce that content. Neither you will, be offered marks if you reproduce that content, right? So the understanding of that content to do your assignment is what is required. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That information should be provided in our language by looking at all picture and producing all information to the assignment in our language. No?
Your language. That is from your language. You are understanding how best you think that the information contained there can be, related to the assignment you are doing, right? So understand in that particular context, interpret in that particular context, come up with your own, the language, and then, produce kind of an assignment. That is the requirement.
In our language that we can provide that.
We are not expecting you to reproduce that content, whether, it from the, say, the website or elsewhere, so it's not required. Your understanding of the content is required for you to do your assignment. That is what is required, ultimately.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Tilina. So, can we use actually global examples? So, when it comes to
Global
Clean Sri Lanka,
examples when you are giving
Yeah.
recommendations, no problem.
because in Clean Sri Lanka project is a newly initiated project. So, in other countries actually those projects have been like
That's
in
okay.
Singapore. Yeah, that is
Because
okay.
when you are giving recommendations, you can always back your recommendation with examples that can be local or global. That's fine.
Thank you.
And I didn't mention it separately. When you are giving references, you need to follow Harvard referencing style. If you can't remember Harvard referencing style, you can Google it, you can learn it, and then you can apply. Always mention the reference as well to avoid plagiarism specifically. We have time for more questions. Okay, so with that, we can wind up the session. It's exactly 7. So I hope you will write a good report with this guidance and you can read more, and good luck. Thank you and good night.